In today's lesson, you'll learn how to play Good Riddance using either a fingerpicking pattern or a strumming pattern. Now I'm going to use low G tuning throughout this lesson, but feel free to follow along with high G tuning as well. Let's get started by taking a look at our fingerpicking version. Our fingerpicking pattern only uses strings 4, 3, and 2. Here's how this pattern sounds at a slow tempo on a G chord. Rhythm at a faster tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. To pick this pattern, we'll start on string 4 with our thumb, then string 2 with our middle finger, string 3 with our index finger, back to string 4 with our thumb, and we finish on string 3 with our index finger. To apply this pattern to the song, we'll play the pattern one time on each chord. Now we're starting on a G chord in our introduction, and this is typically what our G chord shape looks like. However, because this pattern only uses strings 4, 3, and 2, here I like to use my middle finger on the 3rd string and my pinky on the 2nd string. This makes it easy to transition from G to C add 9, and then to D, keeping my middle finger in place on the 3rd string, moving between these 3 chords. So starting on G, to go to C add 9, we'll lift up our pinky, and then to go to D, we're going to add our index finger and ring finger to the 2nd fret of strings 4 and 2. And then to go back to G, we'll lift up our index and ring fingers and place our pinky back down on the 2nd string. So this sequence of G, C add 9, and D repeats many times throughout the song. So let's count out the rhythm of our 2-line introduction at a slow tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. This chord progression repeats in lines 1 and 2 of the verses. And then in line 3, we're going to an E minor chord, covering the 3rd fret of the 2nd string and the 4th fret of the 3rd string. Now here you can either use your ring finger and pinky, or you can use your middle finger and ring finger. Then after E minor, we go back to D, to C, which is going to be all open strings. And now we go back to our G chord. Here I like to use my index finger and ring finger, because next in line 4 we go back to E minor, and we can add our pinky to this chord, keeping our index finger and ring finger in place. Then we go back to D, C, and then we finish the verse on our G chord. Now here once again I like to use my index finger and ring finger, because as we move into the chorus we're going to go back and forth several times between E minor and G, and I find that the easiest way to do this is to use my pinky to go back and forth between the 2 chords. to our D chord, on G. So now you've learned all of the chord shapes to use with our fingerpicking pattern. And if you'd like to fingerpick the entire song, then you can continue to apply this pattern one time on each chord. The final thing that I want to highlight in our fingerpicking version is the last chord in the song. We end the outro on a G chord, and for this chord I like to pick strings 2, 3, and 4 together. If you're enjoying this lesson, please show my channel some love by giving this video a thumbs up. Now if you've been following my lessons for a while, then welcome back. And if you're new here, then welcome. I'm Lara. I'm a musician and a composer, and I love to teach song tutorials and fingerstyle arrangements for all levels. If you'd like to download my song sheets, fingerstyle tabs, or song books, then head on over to my Patreon page where you'll find hundreds of downloads. The link is below in the video description. Next we'll take a look at our strumming pattern and how to apply it to the song. Here's our strumming pattern played on a G chord. And at a slow tempo, and at a faster tempo, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. If you find some of the chord changes in this song to be particularly challenging, then one optional variation on this pattern is to eliminate the final upstrum. This gives you an extra half beat to change chords. So to do this, we'll end the pattern on our downstrum on beat 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So feel free to use this pattern variation wherever it may make some of the more challenging chord changes a bit easier. Now just like our fingerpicking pattern, we're going to apply our strumming pattern one time to each chord. So we start our introduction on a G chord. For G, we have our index and middle fingers on the 2nd fret of strings 3 and 1, and our ring finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. Then we go to C add 9. For this chord, we're going to keep our index finger in place, and I like to use my pinky on the 1st string, 3rd fret, but you can also use your ring finger if that's more comfortable. And then we go to a D chord, covering the 2nd fret of strings 4, 3, and 2 with our index, middle, and ring fingers. Now let's count the rhythm of our 2-line introduction at a slow tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Moving into verse 1, we'll continue this chord progression in lines 1 and 2, and then in line 3 we go to an E minor chord. For E minor, we have our index finger on the 2nd fret of the 1st string, middle finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, and ring finger on the 4th fret of the 3rd string. After E minor, we go back to D, then to C. Now for C, you can use either your ring finger or your pinky on the 3rd fret of the 1st string. And then we go to a G chord to finish line 3. Now moving into line 4, going to E minor, you have two options. The first is to form the standard E minor chord shape. And the second option, going from G at the end of line 3, is to maintain the G chord shape and add your pinky to the 4th fret of the 3rd string to form E minor in line 4. Then after E minor we go to D, then to C, and we finish the verse on G. Now moving from verse 1 into the chorus, once again we're going from G to E minor, and we'll go back and forth between these two chords several times in the chorus. I find that the easiest way to make these chord transitions is to maintain the G chord shape and use my pinky to go back and forth between the two chords. So we start the chorus on E minor, we'll play E minor one more time, then we go to our D chord, and we'll finish the chorus on G. So now you've learned the strumming pattern and all of the chord shape options. To continue through the rest of the song, you can apply the strumming pattern one time to each chord. Next up is our play along, where you can play and sing the entire song along with me. Now I'm going to start with our fingerpicking pattern, then change to strumming, and then change back to fingerpicking. But feel free to use just one pattern or the other throughout the entire song. I've also included some simple fingerstyle tabs for the solo in the middle of the song. Now if you're not yet familiar with reading tablature, then check out my video link above, where I'll help you to get started reading tabs. 5, 6, 7, 8. Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road. Time grabs you by the wrist, directs you where to go. So make the best of this test and don't ask why. It's not a question, but a lesson learned in time. It's something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you had the time of your life. So take the photographs and still frames in your mind. Shelf in good health and good time. Tattoos of memories and dead skin on trial. For what it's worth, it was worth all the while. It's something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you had the time of your life. It's something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you had the time of your life. It's something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you had the time of your life. I hope you've enjoyed learning these fingerpicking and strumming options to play Good Riddance. Have fun practicing, and thanks for watching.